and one in which we cannot turn a blind eye to. As a country that is ranked one of the most prone to natural disasters in the world, my government is seeking support of members and the international community to lend their continued support and technical assistance both during and after our transition period. Furthermore, the Vanuatu government has sought the assistance of the UN system to assist in its transition strategy. In this regard, we look forward to working with the Secretariat in ensuring that we do reach our graduation status. Mr. Chairman, Vanuatu acknowledges this year's theme of balancing the three dimensions of sustainability, from integration to implementation, and sees the importance of supporting the Samoa pathway. Mr. Chairman, distinguished delegates, Vanuatu, only 2 years ago, launched its National Energy Roadmap 2013 to 2020, which was timely in our vulnerable small island state. The roadmap provides a consistent set of guiding institutional framework, policies and plans for investment and growth in the energy sector. Mr. Chairman, given the uncertainty of our ever-changing environment, the Vanuatu governments strongly support the renewable energy approach that not only we are taking, but other states. Vanuatu is now benefiting from hydro power, biofuel, and wind energy, and soon the solar energy, thus making Vanuatu the only Pacific island to have an energy mix in the region. This is done in an effort to reduce electricity cost, given that Vanuatu has one of the highest electricity costs in the region. Mr. Chairman, the role of ICT cannot be neglected in addressing our impediments. ICT contributes to the social and economic development by enabling access to and exchange of information and services, in particular during disasters. Mr. Chairman, the challenges we face have become our opportunities. The political will and the stability has seen ICTs becoming a centerpiece in government priorities and has seen the vast increase in universal connectivity. Governments back social development projects to provide broadband access to schools, health centers across the scattered islands will see connectivity of 98% of all schools by 2018. We have opened up the market, improved coverage from 16 to 90%, and established fair, independent regulation and a full integrated government broadband infrastructure. Vanuatu has also become the first in the Pacific to have its internet exchange, where we will establish a computer incident response team to collaborate at a regional level on raising awareness of cybersecurity and dealing with cybercrime. Mr. Chairman, as we move forward, may I reiterate it and confirm our preparations in finalizing our national sustainable development goals, to which we look forward to and working hand in hand with the Samoa pathway, as well as the SDG post-2015. Mr. Chairman, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, thank you too much.
Thank you, Vanuatu. The next on my list is His Excellency Mr. Ashik Bhaiya from Kazakhstan. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your Excellency, Mr. Bainimarama, Prime Minister of Fiji, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. First of all, on behalf of the delegation of the Republic of Kazakhstan, I would like to say Kapunka to our host country, people and government of Thailand for an excellent organization of this event and traditional warm hospitality. We would also like to congratulate Mr. Chairman yourself for assuming the chairmanship of the 71st session of the UN ESCAP. Distinguished delegates, the world economic crisis clearly demonstrated the need for profound economic reforms to improve competitiveness, innovations, and productivity of our economies, while at the same time ensuring effective mechanisms to ensure balance between the three pillars of sustainable development: economic, environmental, and social. In order to implement these tasks at the national level, President Nursultan Nazarbayev of Kazakhstan has outlined 5 institutional reforms aimed at ensuring the economic programs and providing the public services, industrialization and diversification of the economic growth, development of the nation of common future, creation of transparent, liberal, and accountable state based on the rule of law. The government of Kazakhstan has already devised a detailed program of implementation of these 5 institutional reforms called 100 Steps, and this document will be circulated to your national delegations. Mr. Chairman, in 2015, the Sustainable Development Goals will be launched. As a responsible UN member state, we share the aspiration of the states of the Asia-Pacific region and consistently contribute to the issues of climate change, transition to green economy, poverty alleviation, inclusive growth, as well as reduction of economic inequality in the least developed countries. With the increasing frequency and severity of natural disasters and their global impact, Kazakhstan shares the view that more attention should be paid to improve early warning, preparedness, and response to disasters. We express our deep condolences to the people and government of Nepal on the victims and other consequences of the recent tragic, devastating earthquake. And we took a decision to provide financial support to the government of Nepal for its early recovery and overcoming the crisis. Kazakhstan is the only net contributor among the countries of Central Asia. We are creating our national agency of official development assistance called KazAid. One of the priorities of its activities will be the implementation of projects in Afghanistan and neighboring countries in Central Asia. We have already been training thousands of Afghani students in Kazakhstani universities, and the total project is estimated at $50 million US. Together with the United Nations Development Programme, my country initiated a joint project on supporting a number of least developing countries to develop important sectors of the economies. This project aims to compensate the lack of knowledge and technical skills through educating representatives of these regions in the universities of Kazakhstan and training them in the leading companies of my country. Given its geographic location in the region as well as proneness to natural disaster, Kazakhstan has offered to transform Almaty, its former capital, into the regional center of the United Nations. We hope that this hub will significantly support Central Asia and Eurasia in providing humanitarian support, sustainable development, and building resilience. Distinguished delegates, important aspect of cooperation between Kazakhstan and UN ESCAP are issues of implementation of the United Nations Special Program for the Economies of Central Asia, SPECA, which was established by the initiative of President Nursultan Nazarbayev of Kazakhstan. Projects undertaken in the framework of SPECA directed at a specific socio-economic needs and practical needs of the Central Asian region. Kazakhstan is the strong supporter and the main driver of regional economic integration. One of the main tasks is to strengthen the ESCAP trade and economic cooperation of its member states. In this connection, we propose that the activities of ESCAP need to be in the following directions: addressing physical and non-physical barriers to trade facilitation, the development of transport corridors in order to accelerate and reduce the cost of logistics and transit of goods. ESCAP should also strengthen its work upon investment growth cooperation. Investments play a crucial role in the economy of any country and the engine of the development, as well as an important tool for the transfer of innovation in technology and management. We are working to achieve a national plan for transition to a green economy and therefore took voluntary commitments to reduce greenhouse gas emissions under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. We're also committed to supporting sustainable development on a global scale, and we initiated a Green Bridge Partnership Program, and I avail of this opportunity to call the countries of Asia-Pacific to join the Charter on Joint Implementation of this program. Realizing that energy will have a greater impact on our collective security in the future, Kazakhstan has chosen the topic of the future of energy as the theme of International Exhibition Expo 2017. We intend to provide support to 60 developing nations to participate at this international exhibition. Together with ESCAP, Kazakhstan launched a project to install biogas systems in 10 small island developing states of the Pacific region. We hope that this project will promote the development of regional policies and guidelines for the promotion of renewable energy in the Pacific. We are among the countries that have limited access to water resources, and therefore we stand for a comprehensive study and application of international experience and the principles of international water law. Ensuring regional stability, environmental sustainability, and resolving the problems of collective management and protection of transboundary rivers is the only possible on the basis of common legal positions and mutual respect for the interests of all countries within the transboundary basin. Kazakhstan highly appreciates the cooperation with ESCAP sub-regional office in Almaty. We continue to expect a strengthening role of ESCAP in the mobilization of resources and support for projects on water security. In this regard, let me request the support of all delegations to our initiative to introduce draft resolution strengthening cooperation in the field of sustainable water management in the Asia-Pacific region in the framework of this session. Mr. Chairman, as the largest landlocked country in the world, Kazakhstan is interested in improving the infrastructure and empowering the connectivity to international markets by all the geographically vulnerable countries. In Kazakhstan, the new economic policy, Nurly Zhol, or the path to the future, is the main tool for medium-term counter-cyclical economic policy that will provide large-scale construction of transport, energy, industrial, social, and housing infrastructure. Within this program, in 2014, we launched the railroad route Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Persian Gulf, with the capacity of up to 10 million tons of cargo per year. Last year, we opened a joint Kazakh-Chinese terminal in the seaport of Lianyungan and launched a railroad on the route of Lianyungan to Almaty. Through this transit flow, Kazakhstan unites Asia-Pacific countries with Central Asia, Gulf states, Russia, and Europe. This year, we will complete the construction of the Kazakh section of International Highway Corridor from Western China to Western Europe, which will offer the shortest transit route from China to Europe and reduce the transit time to 10 days only. Mr. Chairman, the energy crisis, limited access to food and water, pose a serious threat to sustainable development and stability. Therefore, food, water, and energy security are priority pillars of Kazakhstan's campaign to a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council for the period of 2017-2018. Kazakhstan has been a committed, responsible, and supportive UN member state, contributing to international peace and security, human rights and the rule of law, and sustainable development. If elected, Kazakhstan is resolved to make its mark by most significant contribution to the work of the Security Council and its mandate for stability, peace and security, and human and sustainable development, not only in the years of 2017-2018, but beyond. Excellencies, I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. The next on my list is Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Manan, the Honorable State Minister, Ministry of Finance and Planning.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister of Fiji and Chair of this cooperation session, Honorable Heads of Delegations, Madam Executive Secretary of ESCAP, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all, and I bring you warm greetings from Bangladesh. It is a matter of great pleasure for me to speak on behalf of Bangladesh at this 71st session of UN ESCAP. I'm delighted to see you as the chair of our session, and I wish to extend my heartiest felicitations and support to you. I also convey our appreciation to the Royal Thai government for the warm hospitality and the excellent arrangements made for this meeting. I wish also to congratulate Dr. Shamshad Akhtar for her dynamic leadership of UN ESCAP. Mr. Chair, our Asia-Pacific region is now regarded as the vanguard of global economic and social development. The region now has achieved considerable success with the MDGs, particularly in reducing income poverty. But it still grapples with a number of issues that pose grave challenges to its development. While some countries of the region face persistent and emerging challenges, including rising inequality, gender discrimination and violence, demographic shifts, and unplanned urbanization, some others encounter the scourge of climate change and environmental mishaps such as pollution and water scarcity. Mr. Chair, the idea of sustainable development is not new. The 1972 UN Conference on Human Development held in Stockholm focused global attention on this interdependency, noting that, I quote, man's capability to transform his surroundings, if used wisely, can bring to all peoples the benefits of development. Wrongly or heedlessly applied, the same power can do incalculable harm to human beings and the human environment. In response, the World Commission on Environment and Development, WCED, was constituted by the UN Secretary General in 1983 under the chairmanship of Gro Harlem Brundtland, a former Prime Minister of Norway. The Commission submitted its report entitled Our Common Future in 1987. It called for sustainable development defined as, I quote, development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Mr. Chairman, inclusive growth in the is the cornerstone of sustainable development and economic and social survey of Asia and the Pacific 2015, making growth more inclusive for sustainable development has rightly recognized its multidimensionality. Taking a multidimensional approach and tracking 50 indicators of inclusiveness, the survey for 2015 assesses the extent to which the Asia-Pacific region's rapid economic growth over the past 2 decades has improved welfare for different groups. The region stands out for its accomplishments in achieving high growth and leading progress on the MDGs since the 1990s. The survey also highlighted small and medium enterprises and the agricultural sector as high priority areas, among others, given their employment intensity and potential for productivity gains. In this context, it is important to re-examine the future state of governance and practices that are crucial for integrating sustainable development into planning and the scaling up of its implementation at all levels. In this context, the following recommendations may be considered. 1. Strengthening multi-stakeholder processes and institutions. 2. Integrated planning for vertical and horizontal collaboration. 3. Scaling up of implementation using cross-cutting policies and programs, particularly in achieving co-benefits for water, energy, and food security. And 4. Institutions and practices for monitoring, reporting, and accountability. Mr. Chair, the national recommendation submitted by Bangladesh for post-2015 development agenda contains 11 goals, 58 targets, and 241 measurable indicators. It is comforting to note that out of the 11 goals proposed by Bangladesh, 9 goals are common with the General Assembly agreed set of sustainable development goals. These goals are poverty, gender equality, food security and nutrition, healthy living conditions, quality education, productive employment, good governance, environmental sustainability, and global partnership. Mr. Chair, Bangladesh has been maintaining an average annual growth rate of about 6+% for more than a decade. The fact that this growth has been achieved despite periodic occurrences of natural disasters, world food price crisis, the global recession indicates the resilience of our economy. Sustained growth has contributed to faster reduction of poverty from 49% in 2000 to 24% now. Growth has also been associated with improvement in social indicators such as education, health and nutrition, housing and sanitation. However, this progress has been facing serious challenges, including maintaining macroeconomic stability, increasing energy supply, lifting investment rate, improving competitiveness of the economy, and achieving sustainable development. Bangladesh government is aware of the grave challenges confronting the country. It has prepared the perspective plan for 2010 to 2021 and the sixth five-year plan for the period 2011 to 2015. The perspective plan envisions that by 2021, the fight against poverty will have been won, the country will have crossed the middle income threshold with the basic needs of the population ensured, and primary rights are respected. Furthermore, this progress will be ensured in an environment where every citizen has the opportunity to fully and positively contribute to society and equitably share the benefits of progress. Bangladesh has been trying to promote an integrated approach involving all the three pillars of sustainable development. Indeed, our ultimate goal is an inclusive society in which human dignity will be ensured for every citizen. Mr. Chair, sustainable development is a constitutional obligation for Bangladesh. Bangladesh has accepted the National Sustainable Development Strategy. The NSDS has addressed mainstreaming sustainable development challenges across sectors and integrating economic, social, and environmental objectives. It also includes mechanism for monitoring implementation progress and institutional mechanism for people's participation. Mr. Chairman, distinguished delegates, Asia-Pacific LDCs need additional resources for financing sustainable development efforts, and the policy reforms must be put in place to increase their economic activity and to build their social infrastructure, especially by investing in basic services, enhancing their resilience. In view of their current economic vulnerability, limited links to developed markets, ODA can still continue to play a critical role in reducing financing gaps. Policy reforms in this area could include the following, and I quote, raising the tax to GDP ratio by broadening tax bases and improving collection and administrative efficiency, strengthening the banking sector, including public sector institutions, as well as increasing focus on broadening and deepening capital markets, and strengthening regulatory frameworks to encourage investor confidence and increase the scope of financial inclusion. Strengthening the legal and regulatory framework to promote FDI inflows for greenfield projects, as well as to expand the use of remittances for productive activities. Advocating and positioning finance for graduation, especially to promote PPPs and encouraging financial systems to support infrastructure projects which can enhance productive capacity of LDCs. Emphasizing the need to create a pool of resources to address the growing concerns of climate change consequences and to facilitate the availability of adequate financial resources and technical expertise to develop appropriate and new technologies to address climate change shocks. Promoting the complementary role of South-South and triangular cooperation to share knowledge more widely and increase the availability of funding for capacity building, and strengthening the role of ODA flows to enhance capacity to access other forms of financing, for instance, to fund infrastructure, basic health services, and education. ODA can also support the creation of a positive environment for investment and trade. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
The next on the list, Your Excellency, is the Minister of State for Finance from Maldives, Mr. Ahmad Munawar.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Your Excellencies, President, Prime Ministers, Head of States, Mr. Chairman, Executive Secretary, and distinguished delegates. A very good morning to you all. Mr. Chairman, as this is the first time my delegation is taking the floor, let me begin by congratulating you and the Vice Chair on your election. Our heartfelt thanks also goes to the ESCAP for convening this important session in such an opportune moment. Let me also congratulate ESCAP and the stewardship of Executive Secretary on the success of the Asian Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development that concluded last week. Mr. Chairman, this year my country celebrates the 50th years of independence, and as Maldivians, we are proud to mark the key economic, social, and environment developments we have achieved over the period. This era of sustainable development has transformed this tiny rural island economy into one of the world's famous tourist destinations, seen as a paradise in the world, which everyone is eager to visit at least once in their lifetime. This tourism-led growth has enabled the country to be among the only 4 least developed countries to be graduated to the middle-income country since 1991, with GDP per capita of over $7,000. Concurrently, Maldives has also achieved remarkable progress in the attainment of the Millennium Development Goals, with 5 out of the 8 MDGs already achieved and on track in achieving the rest. As such, Maldives has marked improvement in the human development indicators such as infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, education attainment, and also the achievement. And also, we have also achieved the lowest poverty rates in the South Asia. Likewise, as per Human Development Index in 2012, Maldives had a score of 0.688, which is above the average for countries in the medium human development group. Ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Chairman, nevertheless, many of the countries with special needs, Maldives is also facing numerous challenges for the future sustainable development. One of the key challenges to the inclusive growth relates directly to the dispersion of 340,000 population across 198 islands. Of this, over 60% of the islands have less than 1,000 population, while over 1/3 of the total population lives in the capital city, Male, placing Male as one of the most densely populated islands in the world with 53,700 per square kilometer. This has resulted in relatively high income inequality by regional standards and huge income and poverty disparities among different atolls of Maldives. Similarly, as a small island economic state, Maldives is exposed to vulnerabilities at the macro level and social level. These include economic vulnerability from external shocks, effect of climate change, natural disasters such as tsunami which happened in 2004, and emerging social challenges such as high level of unemployment and gender issues. And since 2004, the fiscal sustainability has been a key challenge for the macro stability, with ballooning debt levels, largely due to the rapid increase in the recurrent expenditure related to the expansion of public sector with the adaptation of a new constitution and political cycle. In addition, since the graduation in 2011, Maldives have also faced key challenges with the removal of trade and development preferences, and has resulted in loss of key markets for fisheries exports and in the reduction of concessional development financing, which are crucial for future infrastructure developments. Mr. Chairman, and ladies and gentlemen, the newly elected government of President Abdullah Yameen in 2003 has embarked on an ambitious economic agenda to transform the economy on a platform of people empowerment through economic growth and employment creation. And in doing so, the integration of the 3 pillars of sustainable development of economic, social, and environment development is given special preference. During this short period, GDP has grown vibrantly, and the tourism sector has shown its resilience once again, with the arrivals surpassing 1 million mark, which is 3 to 4 times of our population. At the same time, domestic and external stability has been restored, with low inflation, gradual reduction in both the current account deficit and the fiscal deficit. Mr. Chairman, the government's vision is to make Maldives a resilient, diversified, high-income economy in the next decade by economic transformation through promotion of foreign investment, private sector-led growth, and population consolidation. As such, government has intensified its effort to develop an investor-friendly environment with the enactment of key legislation such as Special Economic Zone and improving the macroeconomic stability. For the economic transformation to take off, the government has embarked upon development of key mega projects, including Hulumale Youth City, Hulumale and the Male Bridge, the development of maritime seaport, and the international airport, which are all concentrated in the Male City area. The Youth City, with a target of over 150,000, and the development of the Connecting Bridge, firstly ever to be built in Maldives, would attract a large population for the already reclaimed island. As such, government intends for planned urbanization to take place with pull factors such as migration, such as employment availability and affordable housing. On the north, a similar integrated development project known as the I-Heaven project would provide immense potential for creation of international trade and capture the trade flows crossing the 7-degree channel. Mr. Chairman, these are bold and ambitious key pieces of infrastructure critical for the economic transformation and in realizing Maldives' vision of diversified economy in the South Asia by the next decade. The financing of these projects would be key challenge, but we are confident that bilateral assistance from our friendly countries and multilateral financing and private sector FDIs would help to bridge the gap. In addition, domestic financing would be crucial, and already Maldives has achieved one of the highest domestic revenue as a percentage of GDP of over 40%. Mr. Chairman, Maldives being relatively a young population, as seen from myself, the people empowerment policy is centered in investing and empowering the youth population. The government has prioritized skill development and job creation for the youth so as to reduce the huge youth unemployment, which is close to 40%. Thereby, the government is confident that other social issues related to youth unemployment, such as high rates of crime and drug abuse, would also be greatly reduced. Government believes that where there is life, there is hope. And where there is hope, there is life. And that each and every youth can contribute positively to the growth of our country, given the right opportunities and empowerment. On the social front, promoting and protecting the rights of vulnerable groups such as children, women, and elderly population have been among the most important objectives of the government's human rights policy and has taken many positive strides, including enactment of important legislation and implementation of programs targeted to these groups. Government has given special emphasis to make women economically empowered through introduction of targeted microloans, single mother benefits, home-based employment opportunities, and daycare facilities. Mr. Chairman, with Maldives known for its sun, sea, and the sand, the environment issues such as the climate change is taken very seriously. In this regard, Maldives, through national, regional, and international effort, has taken several initiatives and been an agent of change on wide variety of issues related to climate change and environment degradation. Maldives is the current chair of Alliance of Small Island Developing States, IOSIS. During its tenure as the chair, Maldives will lead the voice of small island developing states through a year of milestones. The Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change is set to adopt a follow-up treaty to the Kyoto Protocol in December in Paris this year. Furthermore, Maldives have itself initiated an ambitious project of over $150 million for reducing carbon emission with the implementation of scaling up renewable energy program in low-income countries, so-called the ESCAP. Under this program, government has initiated two key programs. One, accelerating sustainable private investment in renewable energy known as Aspire project, led by the World Bank. Likewise, Asian Development Bank, together with co-financiers, would undertake preparing outer island for sustainable energy development known as POISE. Both of these projects are aimed to support energy efficiencies and renewable energy investment, and the government targets to increase the use of renewable energy in the mix from 1% to 25% by 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Chairman, we believe sustainable development is the pathway for future we want for our people. And as we move towards transition from MDGs to SDGs, we believe that a people-centered, human right-based approach is the key to delivering on an ambitious and transformative post-2015 development agenda. Maldives believe that resilience building should underpin the post-2015 development agenda within the three dimensions of sustainable development: social, economical, and environment. It is also important that disaster risk reduction is adequately integrated in the post-2015 development agenda. Mr. Chairman, no doubt our regional perspective on key aspects for delivering an ambitious and transformative post-2015 development agenda and the sustainable development goals would be expedient for the discussion in the high-level political forum on sustainable development. As echoed by various member states, Maldives believe that streamlined and nationally appropriate follow-up and review mechanisms are crucial elements for delivering on the ambitious goals and targets. In addition, during the discussion on the implementation of post-2015 development agenda, many countries have emphasized the importance of availability and access to quality statistics. We believe that relevant, reliable, and timely data are crucial for assessing the progress towards achievement of development outcomes and for evidence-based decision-making. However, delivering quality economic and social and environmental statistics for the ambitious sustainable development agenda will be a huge challenge for the national statistics system of small island development economies such as Maldives. Given the geographical distribution of Maldives with 198 islands and 105 island resorts, data collection is very, very costly. We also have limited statistical capacity in terms of staffing, technical know-how on the use of modern methods for data collection and management. We believe that regional collaboration and funding mechanism will be instrumental to enhance the capacity building support to developing countries, including LDCs and SIDS, to produce the data for effective monitoring on SDGs. In this regard, we support the proposed regional trust fund for data and statistics. Mr. Chairman, we cannot reiterate enough the importance of the means of implementation plays in order to realize our ambitious agenda. Without adequate, sufficient, timely, and predictable means of implementation, our agenda will just remain a wish list. In our view, the post-2015 development process, the International Conference on Financing for Development, and the 2015 agreement we are negotiating under the UNFCCC should be complement each other while respecting their separate and specific mandates. To conclude, Maldives, as always, would join hand in hand and would work together in realizing these goals and writing our own story of building resilience through challenges and sustainable development, a story that we will make the story that will make Maldivian proud in the next decades to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. The next on the speaking list is the Deputy Minister of National Planning and Economic Development from Myanmar. His Excellency, Her Excellency, Ms. Lele Tain.
Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure and honor for me to deliver a country statement on the 71st section of UN ESCAP. On behalf of the government of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to the UN ESCAP for organizing this important section, and also congratulate Mr. Chairman for being elected as the chairman of this section. Mr. Chairman, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, MDG will be ended in this year, 2015, and we are finalizing SDGs for the post-2015. The theme topic of this section, balancing the three dimensions of sustainable development from integration to implementation, is very appropriate and important to us, because when we implement our strategies, plans, and programs for our socio-economic development, we need to maintain environmental conservation as well. Without environmental protection, development cannot be sustained in the long term. We need to work together for balancing economic, social, and environmental activities. As we know, the Asia and Pacific region is growing rapidly with its dynamic economy and cultural diversity, and it's set to play a crucial and important role in the world. However, the social and economic disparities between LDCs, including Myanmar, and the rest of the countries are widening. LDCs have generally not been as successful in effectively integrating into the regional and global economy. While some have been able to trigger economic growth on the basis of exports of labor-intensive manufacturing products or natural resources, such growth in itself has often been insufficient to meet the internationally agreed goals, including MDGs. The priority need is to narrow the development gap through enhanced regional integration and connectivity for the successful implementation of SDGs. Mr. Chairman, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, in the case of Myanmar, since 2011, the government initiated a series of reforms. The first stage of reforms was focused on political and governance changes aimed at achieving peace and national unity. Its success provided foundations for the second stage of reforms targeted at economic and social development, in which people-centered development for inclusive growth has been a guiding policy objective. This was followed by a third stage of reforms aimed at the transformation of public administration, and fourth stage of reform intended to facilitate private sector development. Because of the results of these reforms, we gained success in many areas. However, we also face significant challenges. The major challenges are the lowest GDP per capita and the lowest electrification ratio in Asia, poverty and inequality, narrow economic structure, inadequate domestic connectivity, and limited linkages to the regional economy. Regarding MDG, we achieved some targets and slow progress in some targets, so we are not likely to achieve all the 8 MDG goals. We are now formulating and implementing the National Comprehensive Development Plan, NCDP, from 2011 to 2031. The NCDP serves as a framework for planning, policy, and investment decisions by setting priority decisions, long-term goals, and broad strategies. Poverty reduction, graduation from LDC, and moving a knowledge-based economy are included in our priorities. The first 5-year plan, commencing from 2011 to 2016, targets people-centered development, which improves the standard of living of our people. The priority areas are access to electricity, water supply, agricultural development, job creation, as well as rural development and poverty reduction. In this context, we realize the importance of collaboration, cooperation, and inclusiveness for sustainable development. We are working together with the international and regional community, the development partners, UN agencies, INGOs and NGOs, civil society organizations, the private sector, and our people. Myanmar commits to cooperate more closely with the countries in the region and UN ESCAP in implementing the coming Sustainable Development Goals process. For successful implementation of SDGs, Myanmar would like to request UN ESCAP to provide capacity buildings to vulnerable countries like LDCs and LLDCs. In conclusion, Myanmar has been cooperating with the UN agencies, bilateral and regional institutions, and will be working more closely with UN ESCAP and countries of Asia and Pacific to achieve the goals of balancing the three dimensions of sustainable development from integration to implementation. Mr. Chairman, this is the end of my 5 minutes country statement. Thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you. The next speaker on the list is the Permanent Secretary from the Prime Minister's Office, Brunei Darussalam, Mr. Haji Hamzah bin Haji Sulaiman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good morning. Chairman, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, and ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Brunei Darussalam delegation and myself, I would like to express our deep appreciation to the United Nations ESCAP for the excellent arrangement made for this session of the Commission. I would also like to take the opportunity to express our gratitude to the people and the Royal Thai government for the warm hospitality extended to us. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we come towards the end of the target year of the Millennium Development Goals, we are glad to share that the government of His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassanal Bolkiah Muhyiddin Wad Daulah has made great achievements in the MDGs. Extreme poverty has already been eradicated, and we are progressively improving on equity. Net enrollment ratio in primary education in Brunei Darussalam has almost reached 100%. Education opportunities also available for girls and boys alike at all levels. Brunei Darussalam has reduced the under 5 mortality rate drastically over the past 40 years. All pregnant women receive antenatal care and on average makes about 7 antenatal visits per year. HIV prevalence among population aged between 15 to 24 years is just at 0.008%, and Brunei Darussalam continues to expand its relationship with foreign counterparts within the international, regional, and sub-regional area. As you all know, sustainable development requires an integrated, multidimensional approach to policy formulation and decision-making in economic, social, and environmental aspects. The greater challenge, however, is to implement such an approach. To achieve our development goals, participation of all stakeholders, state and non-state actors alike, is essential. This is consistent with the fundamentals of the Sustainable Development Framework that stresses on the importance of the role of partnerships, resilient, shared, and sustained prosperity. We thus support this year's theme on the balancing the 3 dimensions of sustainable development from integration to implementation, and finds it very timely and relevant with the post-2015 development agenda. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our national vision, the Wawasan Brunei 2035, is in line with the MDGs in such a way that allowed for almost all of these development goals to be realized ahead of its time in our country. By the year 2035, we envision Brunei Darussalam to be recognized for the accomplishment of its well-educated and highly skilled people, high quality of life, and a dynamic, sustainable economy. The 3 dimensions of sustainable development are integrated in our national vision through the 12 development strategies, which among others include education, institutional development, local business development, infrastructure development, social security, and land use. Here, we are able to appreciate the interconnection and interrelatedness of the three dimensions of sustainable development. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in ensuring the strategies and policies relating to the National Development Agenda are coordinated systematically towards Vision Brunei 2035, the Wawasan Council was established in 2014. The Council is spearheaded by His Royal Highness Prince Al Mutadibillah Ibni His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassan Bolkiah Muzaddin Daulah, the Crown Prince, Senior Minister at the Prime Minister's Office, and Chairman of the Wawasan 2035 Executive Council. The Council addresses the core challenges of development by the realignment and coordination of policies and strategies within the ambit of sustainable development. The 12 development strategies of the Wawasan 2035 are then implemented through the 5-year National Development Plan, which started with the 9th, which goes through 2007 to 2012, and continues through the current one, which is the 10th, which through 2012 to 2017. The National Development Plans at its implementation stage has taken into account the economic, social, and environmental aspect, along with designated performance indicators and accountability mechanism. Having said that, we believe that our national development goals will also be in line with the proposed Sustainable Development Goals as we, together with the rest of the world, strive for the world we want. We expect at least our development will be consistent with the proposed SDGs. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Brunei Darussalam throughout its development journey has always put the environment as a part of its national policy. At the regional level, Brunei Darussalam is proud to be a part of the Heart of Borneo initiative, a coordinated trans-Borneo approach that goes beyond conservation of rainforests alone. Borneo is currently home to 6% of the world's biodiversity, and we believe that this initiative will help us ensure long-term sustainable economic growth and development. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at all levels of our development, Brunei Darussalam strives to incorporate all three dimensions collectively. We would like to share that since the 1950s, when the first national development plans was introduced in Brunei, the social and economic aspect of development has been included and prioritized. From the 1980s, we continuously take into account the environmental aspect of development through environmental impact assessment and others. Our commitment to the environment is evident as Brunei Darussalam is currently ranked 37th globally into the 2014 Environmental Performance Index and is second among ASEAN countries. As we are all aware, our challenge has always been to provide a good balance between economic, social, and environmental dimension of development. In Brunei Darussalam, as mentioned earlier, we are trying to address this multidimensional approach over a few decades already. In this light, we believe that ESCAP provides a beneficial platform to share best practices and also to initiate cooperation among members in taking up such challenges. Therefore, we commend the Commission's work on these ongoing efforts in promoting sustainable development within the Asia and the Pacific region. Brunei Darussalam, as with other members, is supportive of this endeavor with the region and hope ESCAP the utmost success. Thank you for your kind attention.
Our next speaker on the list is the Director, Distribution Section, Economic Planning Unit from the Prime Minister's Department, Mr. Kamarul Arifin Ujang from Malaysia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Excellency, Mr. Chairman, Deputy Executive Secretary, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, my delegation would like to express our sincere appreciation to ESCAP for the excellent arrangement and hospitality accorded to our delegate during the 71st session and to the host country, Thailand. Mr. Chairman, Malaysia has been able to transform from a low-income economy in the 1970s to a high middle-income economy today. The fruits of growth has only been enjoyed by the people as reflected by the higher level of household incomes and the eradication of poverty, but has also been better distributed, narrowing the income gap between different income groups. Parallel to the economic achievement, we have also achieved commendable success in terms of social progress. These achievements are in line with Malaysia's commitment to place the well-being of the people as the priority of its development effort. While pursuing for material growth, Malaysia has not disregarded the nation's endowment. As such, the government is committed to protect the environmental quality of life and caring for the planet, while harnessing economic value from the process. Malaysia will embark into the upcoming plan, the 11th Malaysia Plan for the period of 2016 to 2020, which is premised upon 6 strategic thrusts, which are enhancing inclusiveness, improving well-being, harnessing talent, pursuing green growth, strengthening the foundation for economic expansion, and re-engineering economic growth. At the core, these thrusts are based on triple objectives of achieving a high income, inclusivity, and sustainability in various aspects. These thrusts also address 2 matters. Firstly, it addresses the needs of the people and leverage on our human capital, or the people economy. And secondly, it addresses the economic means, or the capital economy, to achieve our goal to become a developed and high nation by the year 2020. The people economy is concerned with what matters most to the people, which includes job, small businesses, the cost of living, family well-being, and social inclusion, while the capital economy is about GDP growth, big businesses, large investment projects, and financial markets. The 11th Malaysia Plan will continue to focus on accelerating strategic economic reforms, maintaining macroeconomic stability, and enhancing inclusivity and sustainability. All citizens stand to benefit from economic development regardless of gender, ethnicity, socio-economic status, and geographic location. This is a very important tenet for a plural society like Malaysia that is multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and multicultural. Malaysia will also continue to review and modernize regulations and laws towards facilitating a well-functioning market economy towards an inclusive and sustainable development. Mr. Chairman, as Malaysia moves towards becoming an advanced and inclusive nation by 2020, there are still several challenges with respect to inclusivity, sustainability, and social development that need to be addressed. In terms of inclusivity, there are sections of the population who remain vulnerable due to inability and disadvantaged circumstances. The government is refocusing on the bottom 40% of the household income group in the 11th Malaysia Plan to reduce their vulnerability to economic shocks and elevate them towards a middle-class society. In terms of environmental sustainability, the main challenge for Malaysia is to address issues related to climate change, environmental degradation, and natural resources, as well as natural disasters. The 11th Malaysia Plan will shift from conventionally and costly grow first, clean up later path to green growth trajectory. Green growth will ensure efficient use of resources, minimal pollution to the environment, and resilience against the impact of climate change and natural disasters. 4 key strategies will be pursued, namely strengthening the enabling environment for green growth, adopting the sustainable consumption and production concept, conserving natural resources for present and future generation, and strengthening resilience against climate change and natural disasters. With respect to social development, the government will improve the well-being of the people regardless of socio-economic background or geographical location. Equality of access to quality education, healthcare, and affordable housing will be ensured. Greater social integration will be given due emphasis in leading Malaysia to a more united and cohesive community. The role of financial sector is envisioned to grow beyond its role as an enabler of growth, to be a key driver and catalyst of economic growth. Towards this end, the aim is for the financial sector to become more competitive, dynamic, inclusive, diversified, and integrated, with the ability to offer world-class financial services. in terms of breadth, depth, and quality to serve the needs of the Malaysian. The growth of the financial system should be ultimately anchored to the growth in the real sector. Mr. Chairman, in coming September, UN member states will adopt the post-2015 SDGs that will succeed the first ever 15-year-old MDGs. The process has obtained the highest political commitment at the national level and involved multi-stakeholders engagement. And for post-2015, similar approach could be considered while building on the strength of the MDG and focusing on filling up the gaps in the achievement of the MDGs goals. The ESCAP has been playing a significant role in laying a platform for formulation of collective actions that will carry great weight, particularly on efforts to sustain economic growth and steer inclusive development. Through its flagship publication of the 2015 Economic and Social Survey of Asia and the Pacific, it presented outlook and prospect for the region and outlines a policy agenda to address the current and foreseeable challenges in order to sustain economic dynamism while ensuring that growth is inclusive and environmentally responsible. Malaysia welcomes the views and recommendations presented in the survey. Many countries in the Asia-Pacific regions have shown positive economic growth and will continue to do so through the support of a progressive development economic plan, strategic trade partnership, and political stability. Finally, Malaysia would like to emphasize that stronger regional cooperation and integration is necessary to provide a platform for the formulation of collective action that will allow for greater achievement of the development goals. Regional cooperation is a gateway to greater welfare and improved standards of living. In this regard, stronger cooperation and integration will promote a more equal and balanced growth in this region. This cooperation should not only be confined to extending networking for the poverty alleviation initiatives, knowledge sharing, but also in dealing with the current socio-economic issues and challenges such as natural disasters and calamities, as well as the global economic turbulence and volatility. Excellency Chairman, I thank you again for giving me the opportunity to take the floor.
Thank you, Excellencies. Distinguished delegates, we will now break for lunch, and we will begin at 2 p.m. this afternoon. We have some admin announcement. Please, Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have just a few announcements before we break for lunch. The first is that just a reminder on two side events during the lunch hour. The first, starting right now, is the event hosted by the government of the Russian Federation on energy. It's being held downstairs in reception hall of this UN conference center. The second is that at 1 o'clock, the government of Thailand is hosting a side event on its self-sufficiency economy philosophy. That will begin with a small reception at 12:15, but the panel discussion will actually begin at 1 o'clock, and that is being held in conference room 4. And then lastly, some of you may have already done this, but the Secretariat would like to remind all delegates to please take a few minutes to complete the questionnaire before the end of the Commission session. Your feedback over the years has been very valuable and has informed our preparations for each of the subsequent Commission sessions. So we kindly ask that each delegation complete just one questionnaire, and as I mentioned, the results will be used to improve future sessions of the Commission. Thank you very much.
The Embassy of India in Bangkok presents its compliments to the member of states of the ESCAP and has the honor to convey that the Government of India seeks re-election to the Governing Council of the Asia-Pacific Training Center for Information and Technology Development.
The Embassy of India in Bangkok presents compliments to the member states. 开动了，来来。好了，有换。老师说好累。哎呀哎呀！对，我们俩都在念。啊，一样一样。我眼睛都不知道朝哪看。A B C I C T O。